Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. This is our fourth Kairos webinar for 2026 and is offered exclusively to you as our valued Kairos families enrolled for 2026. And then today's session is specifically with the purpose to support and guide you in reporting your January to June academic results, and then specifically through the Applecore platform. Now, just before we begin, our normal housekeeping rules. We will start now and with a 10 to 15 minute overview, and then we'll open the floor for questions. We are recording this overview, and thereafter we will stop the recording. You are welcome to post your questions in the chat function, and we will answer those after the overview portion. Please keep yourself muted during the session. And yeah, I'm looking forward to the next 45 minutes with you guys. So Edric, to the next slide, please. What is Applecore? Now, Applecore is included with your enrollment with us, and it is an online, secure, and user-friendly learner management system. So it consists of various components, and today we will focus on the reporting side, which is called Applecore, and that's where you will also see the Apple picture on that system. Now, since last year, we've seen the introduction of a couple of new functionalities and the new look and feel to this system, which makes it even easier to navigate. I think for all of us that have been using the legacy version for a couple of years, it took a little bit of time to familiarize ourselves with the new system. But for us and our team that has been working with this and have provided feedback to HLA, which they have taken on board, I can tell you that it is really user-friendly and make it even better as the previous version that we had. One of the main features, of course, is that it is family-friendly, and it allows you to view and manage all your children's records from one platform. And furthermore, no apps needs to be downloaded. It's web-based, so easy to use. So what's the purpose around the system? At its heart, it is here to support you in your child's academic record keeping. It helps you then to communicate your educational plan, what you plan to do at the beginning of your academic year to the school. It helps you to report the progress against your plan then twice a year, with the first intervention for our Alpha 2026 students coming up now, the second one for our 2025-26 US calendar students. And then lastly, what is really helpful, it assists you to review what you are doing and make further adjustments to your following semester. So it provides a bit of a stop opportunity where you can again reflect on what you've been doing and ask yourself the question: should you continue with what you are doing? Are you on track? Are you in front? Do you need to remove? Do you need to add? And yeah, that's a value add from that system. What I just want to do in between as well, I just apologize. I am also a mom, and I had to come through to Potchefstroom today, so I'm sitting here in a coffee shop. But hopefully the sound is clear and you guys can hear me. Okay, so looking at the key definitions, if you're not already familiar with these, I'm quickly going to work through that so that we can just, when I talk about something, you know what it is all about. So subject will be the focus of the work. So we sometimes talk about subject area, which will be languages and then or English or science. And then the subject title will be for English, for instance, English 7 or English 10 to depict the level that you are doing the work at. The objectives, these are really what you want to achieve at the onset of the subject, which you have measured yourself then against in order to get to the grade. Resources are what did you use, and be specific there, what have you used in order to do that subject? So if you, for instance, used Matthew C for maths, you need to be specific and say, I'm using Matthew C, this pre-algebra, because otherwise, we've seen funny things that people are all it one thing and they are using either higher or lower level of resource. So yeah, be specific. And for the resources, the credits is then defines the quantity of the work, and that is only applicable for our grade 9 to 12 students. Okay, so not for those in grades or to 8. There's a few grade 8s that might do 1 or 2 credit subjects already, but then it's again grade 9 level work. Then grade itself refers to the quality of the outset achieved, and which you have then measured according to your assessment methodology and against your set objectives. And then the semester, when was the work done? Okay, so those are the definitions, and you all must probably already familiar with those. So slide 4, next slide, slide 4, Edric, please. So there are a couple of minimum requirements you should take note of, and I've made this quite comprehensive, but it's really straightforward. If you've enrolled a child, you need to report. Okay, so please do that. You as parents remain responsible for verifying that the report is in place. Where you do make use of a tutor or your child is involved with the learning center for part of the time, it remains your responsibility to make sure that the information is fed into the Applecore system. Then reporting for now for this first part of 2026 is due by 15 June. So either submit your form to Kairos by that date if we are helping you, or you need to update Applecore yourself. And yes, you may add a grade point in time. So to stipulate or to explain that, say you are finishing off by the 20th of June or the 20th of July. Okay, so you've got another month of work left. Then you can go in and you can still update Applecore. You can say, okay, my grade is B. I've got 80% for this subject and I've completed this, but this is a grade point in time and I'll update it within a month's time. Then coming July, you can go back and update it. Okay, so that is allowed. It is a soft deadline, guys. So nobody is going to, we rub you over the knuckles if it's not done. So please don't panic, especially for the newer guys. But the deadline is there really to help you to remember that you are accountable and to give you a goal to work towards. Then you will consistently apply Home Life Academy's grading scale. No other scale. So even if you use something like Power Homeschool or another system, they've got a different grading scale. You are with Home Life Academy, you apply our grading scale. And in that instance, it's always best to use the percentage that you've obtained, because that is, you can use that very clearly to define the letter grade for a particular subject. If you do it yourself, you apply our Kairos e-planner. I'll show a bit more about that later. All subjects listed for this semester must either be graded or removed from Applecore. Okay. So if you, for instance, said that you will start with subject X, but you didn't get to it, then you just delete the semester that we are currently in from Applecore. And for high schoolers, important, remember the credit. Each and every subject must have a credit and a grade. Otherwise it will be flagged. And then lastly, keep your academic records details up to date, whether it's in a file or electronically. We don't dictate the means, but that's just for your own future reference and application. Especially in the legal environment that we sit, having those will ensure that you do not worry about being compliant and can show evidence if ever asked of you. Personally, we've gone through this journey without that question being asked ever, but who knows? Okay, good. So if you look at the next slide, then Edric, I just want to highlight here that, Edric, the next slide, taking hands. You as parents retain the responsibility for these actions. You are supported by both Home Life Academy and Kairos. I see that slide is not pushing through. Sorry, Edric. I must have hidden it from the slide back. No worries. I'll just go back to the previous one. But the fact is, you are supported, guys. So you've got Kairos e-planner, you've got the step-by-step processes, you've got videos on Applecore and within the e-planner. Yes, there you are, that one. Then we do have the admin support where, if needed, many of our new families are making use of this, which is great, because then we can just guide you through the process, and it relieves some pressure to know, okay, this is a blueprint of how it should look, and you can continue on that way. And yes, you may delegate the responsibility to a tutor or a supporting learning center, but ultimately you stay responsible to ensure that that entity then knows what to do. Okay, so we won't be communicating with the learning center or the tutor. You do the communication with that entity to which you have delegated. The next slide. So this is a slide that I've prepared for our families. Edric, next slide, please. That have been previously enrolled and were using the spring and fall naming conventions. Home Life Academy has now simplified the naming conventions, and it works simply. Edric, not that one, the one with the dates, please. You will start with semester 1 and then continue to semester 2 in your academic year of application. So we are not talking about spring and fall and summer anymore, because Life Academy found, we are one of 140 countries that are serving, and the spring and fall makes lots of sense in the States, but much less so the rest of the world. So you will still see a reference to spring and fall in there, but disregard that, because that will just confuse you. Semester 1 and 2. So for instance, for the Alpha students, we are now in semester 1. And you will be reporting on semester 1. For those on the US calendar, of course, you already did semester 1 last year. This is now 2. And similarly for the second part of this year, our Alpha students, that will be your second semester for the 2026 academic years. here, and then for our US calendar families with the re-enrollment upcoming within the next 2 weeks, you will be enrolling for your first semester the end of the year. So for those that have records on Applecore in the past, don't worry about that. Remember, it's the records are all rolled up into an annual grade and credit on your transcript, so that records are fine. Okay, and it will be presented correctly in the final transcript. The US families, of course, may also apply a semester 3, and that is then now starting in June, July, up till mid-September. Very few of our families make use of this, either in South Africa or overseas, but it is an option for those families. Of course, when you use semester 3, then you make the following year is a bit shorter again. So just take that into account in your plan. Okay, next slide, Edric. So we will work through 2 practical examples where we support you. In the first one, an example of how we support you and the form that you will complete, and then the second example where you do it yourself. Next slide, please. So the first example then is where you complete our form. It is similar to the form that you have completed with your enrollment, the Google form. Please, we ask that everyone complete this form and don't send us emails. Emails, we receive literally hundreds of emails every day. And just receiving everything through this format ensure that we can keep track and deliver a better service to you as well. And you have proof that it has been received and it will be processed. Okay. So this form then is an administrative support service and not a review service. We've got something else for that. So my team that will assist and has been assisting you, they will correct spelling errors, if it's obvious to us. They will check naming convention errors and obvious formatting issues where needed, but we will not question or reinterpret the information that you have provided. Okay, so please make sure that what you provide is correct and complete before submitting. For example, if a credit amount or grade is not provided, our team can't make something up, and we won't make something up because, that will be unethical. So any missing or incomplete details will then need to be updated by either yourself later, or you will have to provide that information to us in the next round. So unfortunately, we can't go back and forth with every submission. So just double check your information before you submit. And this will help us to serve your family efficient and keep your Applecore records as accurate as possible. Now, based on this information, our document control team will then update your Applecore and they will provide feedback. On that, you will see the 5 steps of information that has and will be required per subject. And we will remove any semester courses from the past semester that appear on your plan, but for which no progress was reported. So in the beginning, you submitted a plan. Now you're giving feedback on that plan. So we will remove those for this semester that's redundant. And then once this has all been completed, you will receive an email confirming the progress has been captured together with a screenshot for your records. Okay, so just a reminder, this is a once-off process per semester. And you are welcome to make further changes to Applecore thereafter if you so want. Thank you, Edric. Next slide. So our next example is where you report the progress yourself. This process is described, Edric, next. Yeah, thank you. This process is described step by step in your Kairos e-planner with an extra guidance video also provided by Home Life Academy on your My HLA, the Apple Core system. Next slide, Edric. So on your Apple Core, you will go to your account. You will go to the Apple Core icon. You will select a particular student and then the subject which you want to edit. And so here's just an example of a subject that I've selected for a child. And you will select the edit function as indicated by the arrow. Edric, next slide, please. And next you will go in and similar to prior, double check and then update as and where needed your the information in this page. So you will double check your title. You will update the textbook resources that you've used at the percentage as needed. If it was a special course, update that information, verify the semester detail, add the grade according to your percentage, and then also add the credit details. In the notes, you may add any further notes that you have. If you, for instance, do the grade point in time, it's always great just to add the note here below with the date that grade has been added, and then when you do the update, then note it there accordingly. Good. Edric, the next slide, please. So I've just wanted to highlight here common errors that we see. So for instance, for this child, this in many cases, we do recommend making use of your own title and not only depict using the default titles. So in this one, language arts, is okay, but bringing it closer to calling it the level that you're doing. So if this language arts was English, call it English. So English, and then the grade. So English 6 or English 7 or English, okay, that's for a primary school child. So you can use that. The English is just a better title. Okay. Then the good and the beautiful, you can see, what level are you doing, because the good and the beautiful has got packages from level 1 to and the high school level. So what level are you using? Be more descriptive. Double check your semester. Be sure then to update your grade as well. And for primary school resource such as this, there won't be any credits. So it will be displayed 0, and don't worry about it. That's the way it's being displayed for all students. Next slide, Edric. This is another example. So here you can see the Afrikaans 11, just to indicate the students is busy with that language and that grade level. So you can see a good description here in terms of what the child is currently doing. The percentage in this case is not yet there because the student still, or the family still need to provide the information. So that field will be updated. Then, of course, you will again double check your semester. You will put in the grade and double check the credits that you claim against your book. Okay, next slide, please, Edric. Okay, so in summary, guys, then you as family provide the completed reporting information, and we help you. Our documentation control team will capture it into Applecore and remove any unreported past semester courses from the plan, etc., etc. Okay. So either we do it or you do it, but it needs to be done. So yeah, that brings us then to the end of this discussion. Thank you for listening so attentively, and please feel free then to drop your questions in the chat and I'll work systematically through them. Thank you for being here this afternoon. I do appreciate your attendance and want to do the right thing. So I'm just going to stop the recording as well.